My birthday is coming up, which is a little bit scary because I am turning 30. So back in the days, I actually used to really love birthdays because when I lived in Germany with my family, it would always be such a big deal. Because first of all, my birthday is on the 3rd of October, which is the day of German unity, which means I've never in my life ever had to work or go to school on my birthday. On the other hand, most of my family have their birthdays in October, but I'm the first one, so that means that my grandma makes her famous chocolate mocha cake for the first time of the season, so everyone's just like getting together and really excited to get this cake. And it's just a big gathering with my entire family, and I used to really enjoy it. But obviously then I moved country, and also my grandpa's died and my grandma went to the elderly home, and it just felt like the entire family scattered a little bit. So even though now I spend my birthdays with Jack and with the pets, and usually we go to the Highlands or do something else fun, and I often take the entire week off and call it the birthday week and end up sewing or like renovating the sewing room, which is what I did last year. It still feels like birthdays aren't quite the same anymore. And obviously turning 30 is just weird. It just feels like, you know, turning 20 was kind of exciting because it feels like you're an adult now and you've got all of these choices and your life is just ahead of you. But now turning 30, I almost feel like my life should be settled. And even though like obviously I'm married and I've got the pets and we've got the flats and everything, so in that sense I'm not complaining, but job wise it's just a big mess for me. Like my career is just, we will talk about that later, get a little bit into like my fears and worries around turning 30 and just life in general. But for now, we're going to do something fun because I'm planning to make a birthday dress because I've been having this fabric that I think is really, really cute and I wasn't sure what to do with it. So I thought I'll just turn it into a dress where I just throw all of the things I like into one and we'll see what comes out. So I'm thinking circle skirt because that's currently my favorite type of skirt. I'm thinking Edwardian top with like an underlayer because I absolutely love those. We're just gonna go over the top, but also in a way that is still practical to wear. So it's not gonna be costume, it's just gonna be a dress, but with all the features that I like because it's my birthday and I get to do whatever I want. Let's go over to the sewing room. Got my homemade cinnamon rolls made with hazelnut and pecan and hazelnut butter in the filling, and I've been so obsessed with these. I've actually been making them every single week and eating them for breakfast every morning. So Jack's just always like, you think you're a little bit obsessed with this? And I'm like, rightfully so, it's autumn. But with that, we're going to start sewing the birthday dress today. So I know you guys are always very keen on me telling you what patterns I'm using, so you're going to hate this one because we're going to do the Lettie dress. With the Lettie dress, I'm actually getting so many requests about which patterns I'm using. So the secret is the Lettie dress does not actually have a set of patterns. So the Lettie dress is basically a blouse dress. So you've got a button up front matched with a skirt. And there are a lot of dresses I've called the Lettie dress over the past, and they're all very vastly different. Because the idea is that usually I use whatever skirt I currently like the best with whatever blouse I currently like the best. And it usually has like a half sleeve and a high button up, and that is the Lettie dress. So whenever you guys ask me, oh, what's the pattern, it's just kind of like whatever I currently feel like. So I also don't think you need my patterns to make a Lettie type dress. You can just use whatever patterns work the best for you, because that's the secret about the Lettie dress. It's not meant to be like a pattern that is set in stone. It's meant to be a dress that is very kind of like fluid and responsive, and the Lettie dress is whatever you need it to be. And currently we need it to be a birthday dress. So I'll be using my trusted circle skirt pattern, which again is self-drafted based on a skirt I really like. So with this dress, I am now planning to use my trusted blouse pattern, but alter it very heavily, and I haven't really spent that much time thinking about what I want it to actually look like. I've had these more late Edwardian blouses in mind that have kind of like tucks here, and I really like the look of it, and then having like a white underlayer because I feel like I love those. I love sewing things that have these white underlayers, but they're often a little bit too costumey. So I don't get to make them as often, so I think for my birthday that is a really good excuse to make that. I will just very quickly eat my cinnamon roll and then I will start cutting out fabric. 'Tis autumn. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this is what we'll be using for fabric, obviously. A very trusted Asta bedsheet, which I bought twice. Once for the bed and once for sewing, so we're going to be using the gingham side of it today. You know how I like my bed sheets, so obviously we're going to use my favorite source of material for this dress as well. So everything's cut out now, and I've cut out the top in a way so that, wait, how can I show you this? So that I've got way too much fabric on the shoulder, so I can kind of like pleat it like this. And then I've cut out a separate piece, which is gonna be kind of like the bib that goes underneath, almost like that. And the way I've cut out the bodice currently, it would kind of close up in the front. I think when I'm assembling this, I will then drape it on the mannequin and kind of see which shape I actually want to go for. We're going to start with the easy bit. We're going to make the skirt first. So progress was going really well, and I was like, wow, the skirt's almost finished, look at me. And then I was really distracted by the Vampire Diaries, and then I've got my waistline here, my pocket here, so I've gone through the entire process of adding the pocket. And then, what is this? What is this? Why is this the hem? Why is the waistline down here? So now I can seam rip a million seams, but that's fine because I can watch the Vampire Diaries while I'm doing it. I have made the bodice as well, and as you can tell, it is way too big on the shoulders. So this is the part where we start just randomly draping things and hope for the best. So let's try. You're so cheeky. You're so cheeky. Okay, so after spending ages draping this, here is what the plan is. So first of all, I'm going to sew down this little pleat that I've got running from the front to the back. Basically, I'm going to sew this down on the inside so that the little flap itself is still free, whereas then the inside where it overlaps, that is going to be sewn closed, so that that's where it kind of like stays in place, because I'm worried that if I just sew it into some places and then iron it, that because of the pressure of around the bust, that it's just going to like flap open and look a bit funny. And then I've got this little middle part bit that will be beige on the top and matching green down here with pattern matching. And I'm gonna make this kind of like a thing in itself, because then the opening is gonna be, which side is the opening? On this one here, so that this kind of like closes, but there will be some lace over it to hide that this is the overlayer, if that makes sense. So that's the plan. So I'll just, okay, first this seam, then I'm gonna make this into like a cohesive bit, and then yeah. Okay, let's go. It's almost done. So all that remains to be done now is to finish the hem and to iron everything, And I'm thinking whether I want to also add a little trim to the bottom. I always feel like with this kind of trim, so with like crochet trim, it's always such a hit and miss because it feels like it can be cute, but it can also look a little bit cheap. But I still think it's really cute, and obviously I wanted to use this as an excuse to make something that it has this kind of underlayer and the Edwardian feeling without it being like a proper Edwardian costume. And since it's my birthday, I just thought, you know, I can get away with anything. So I do think I really like it because it's brushed cotton. It's super soft as well, and I just love wearing bed sheets because it's basically just like staying in bed all day. So yeah, with that I thought I'd throw in a little conversation break, tell you what's up these days. So actually, as you're watching this, weeks must have passed since my last sewing video, but I'm really filming this a week after the Edwardian Pinafore, so that's kind of like the messed up timeline we're talking about here. So hopefully by now you will have actually seen my house video, which I held back because yeah, there's just so much going on. As I'm currently filming this, it looks like things are actually happening, and we might be getting the keys around my birthday, so I'm not sure whether we're going to actually do anything for my birthday, even though I'm turning 30. So I kind of felt like this pressure to do something not even bigger, but just something special. And it also made me think I should maybe talk to you guys about like turning 30 and life expectations and just generally things. So I have been kind of joking about being old for like ever. When I started working as a lab technician, I kept telling people that I'm so much older than them, and then I was actually just like a year older than people. But especially once I started my PhD, that became a bit more obvious because I had already worked as a lab technician for a while and I had done a master's. And many of the students that worked with us, especially the master's students, were all so very young. And then I started feeling really, really old. Like obviously there are older people than me in the uni, but from all the students it often feels like I'm one of the older ones. And now turning 30, that just really ingrains that into me. And I'm still a student. So I keep complaining to my mom about this, that it just kind of feels like turning 30 is such a milestone. And I really thought my life would be different. Like, I mean, obviously I got married at 25, and then we also got the house that year. And now we're getting a second flat. So things are going okay in that department. I just feel like career-wise, if you've listened to me talk about this, I don't really care for having a career, so I'm not that type of woman. I really care about being at home and, you know, my family and my pets and just crafts and everything. So I'm not really someone who's career driven, and I just work because I need a job, which might be a little bit misleading because I obviously do a PhD, so it sounds like I'm really ambitious, but that's not really the case. I just kind of accidentally fell into that, and now I'm just doing it because that's what I'm doing. But afterwards, I'm not all that keen to have a brilliant career. I'll just do whatever I can do from home. I really love writing, so that's something I would like to do afterwards, but also I'm not all that fussed about it being related to my PhD. It's weird turning 30 and not really having ever worked. I have been a student for 10 years now, and I'm honestly sick of it, and so I really can't wait for it to be over. It's just until October, and then I have to write up this PhD thesis, and then I can finally hand it in and just turn my back on it. Are you chewing yourself, or are you chewing the cable? Come on, let go of the cable. If you guys have already hit 30, maybe you can let me know what your feeling was about turning 30, because for me it's weird because it feels like there's a lot of expectations around it, and I'm just mainly disappointed that life hasn't really turned out the way I thought it would. I thought with 30 I'd be like, I don't know, in a better place. Not that I'm in a bad place. You know, I need to do a job and haven't really found a way to get around that yet. Ideally, with Jack having his own business, I would probably love to one day just be a housewife. That would be my absolute dream. Just, you know, being at home and cooking meals and just being there for Jack. And obviously creating content, which is my part-time job, which I do on top of the PhD. A lot of thoughts about turning 30. But hopefully having a birthday dress will make it a little bit more bearable. But also I'm really excited because for my birthday I've treated myself to some fabric, obviously, because I want to remake a project that I've already made that kind of failed in the past. And I'm hoping that I've learned something and that I'm a better seamstress now, and that this time I will succeed. And I would love to show you the fabric, but alas, I've got a cat on me. But it is something I've done before, and it will require green tweed and white fake fur. So I'll leave it up to you to guess what my next project will be. And it's very Scotland related, so Yay. Yeah, that's my life update. It always feels like I'm just moaning about my PhD because it's really dragging out and not really, yeah. I cannot wait though to one day make a video about, you know, what it's like to do a PhD, because I have a lot of things to say. But I think I'll probably wait until I'm done and I've got my certificate, and then I will tell you my thoughts about doing a PhD and whether it's worth it. So I think with that, I am going to finish this up. I will hem the hem, I will iron everything, I'll add some pressy buttons to the side because currently the closure kind of goes like this, so it goes all the way up to the neck and then the collar, so all of that needs to have like little pressy buttons and hooks and eyes, and that's a little bit more handwork, but I'll do that later in my pajama. And I think with that, it is time for the reveal. Let's look at the birthday dress. Tis done. So I feel like I don't hate it, but I definitely don't love it. It's maybe something about the high neck and my shorter hair that doesn't really work, or that used to work with my longer hair. Or maybe it's just the mix of different influences, and this being a bit Edwardian and the skirt being more 1940s, that it's kind of giving mixed signals. I showed it to my mom and she said it was very farmhouse style. And I think that summarizes it quite well. The fabric is super soft and it's really comfy to wear, so it is actually quite nice, but also it's not my favorite thing I've ever made. And I think the problem with being a seamstress is that every single time I make something new, I think it should be better than anything I've ever made before, and when it isn't, I get a bit disappointed. So that is, I guess, what's happening now. So I don't know, I'm gonna wear it for the day and see how I feel about it at the end of the day, whether it's gonna go into the for sale pile or whether I'm gonna keep it anyway. Hello from my office, where I'm just editing this video on my lunch break. I was so critical about this dress in the reveal, and I'm not really sure why, because I actually think it looks really cute, and I also ended up wearing it all day and it was super comfy and actually really pretty. So I'm not sure why I was so grumpy when I was filming this. I think I'm gonna keep the dress and I'm gonna wear it. Maybe not for my birthday, because I think I might be wearing the next project that I'm currently working on. But yeah, I don't know. I must have just been grumpy that day. I just thought I'd say that. But the next project that's coming up is hopefully the best thing I've ever made. So I'm very excited to show you what I'm working on next. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this video and you took something from it. And if you like sewing content and the stuff we do here, make sure to subscribe and see the next video I make, so you can see us making. She's really, I don't think I can edit it if there's whining in the background.
The background.
So if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to see any of the coming sewing content. That's going to be very green and very tartany as well. And let me know in the comments how you feel about getting older, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!